So I'm gonna read their bio.
No, fuck the bio.
You don't want the bio?
Fuck the bio.
Okay, I'm gonna say for now, Angelito Dominguez is the author of Black Lavender Milk, ROSESUNWATER, Desgraciado. He exists in the past, present, and future, and he's the medicina that you've all been waiting for. Give it up for Angel Dominguez.
Thank you. You know, I was at the first Speaking Axolotl. It was such a different reading series and such a special thing. And so I live in the woods. I know Josiah said Santa Cruz, but like I'm out in the fucking boonies, y'all. I'm in the state. I'm in Bonny Doon, if you're familiar. And for that reading, I took public transportation from Bonny Doon to Oakland, which, if you don't know, takes 4 hours. I did not know that. And when I arrived, I was welcomed into the most beautiful reading space I had ever seen. There was all these black and brown poets. There was Josiah, who I did meet in this very space. I was wearing gold short shorts. I did have a calavera mask. I almost wore that same sweater, but my partner told me that it was old and gross and maybe time to stop wearing it. So understandable. It's in the car, if anyone. And I just have to say that Medicine for Nightmares is my home away from home. It is the place that I feel safe. It's the place where I know what real poetry is, who the real poets are. There are so many in this room tonight. I am almost overwhelmed by love. I had a very different plan to read tonight. I had this performance that I wanted to engage with, a ritual performance, an act that I wanted to share together to remind us that we're connected. But I received a piece of mail addressed to my partner this afternoon before leaving from a fascist conglomeration, and it was an invitation to sign a petition for mass deportation. And I don't know why my partner would receive that, how they would get my partner's information, but that shuffled me, and shuffled me in a way that I forgot the Henneken rope that my tío made in the Yucatan. I forgot the Virgen de Guadalupe sarape that I typically wear when I read, because I think a lot about what it means to enter space, right? You need spacesuits to go to the moon. You need poetry suits to enter this space, right? And so instead I brought my grandfather's cardigan, and this is what I'm wearing now. This belonged to Sheesh, and Sheesh is the central character presence in Black Lavender Milk, which was a book that I wrote 10 years ago. And I will be reading some of that, but I am feeling called to read other things tonight, and I hope that's okay with you all. The thing that I need us all to remember is that fascists require us to be exhausted. They rely on shock and awe. They rely on the perpetuation of theater. And the reality is, there have always been more of us than there are of them. And I want to remind you of that, and I wonder if you'll do something with me. This is going to be a participatory poetry reading, so if you're not into that kind of thing, too fucking bad. I can be more than soft. But I was thinking what it means to connect, what it means to resonate, and I don't have a rope to connect us all to hold on to. I don't have these things. All I have tonight is my breath, my body, and my poetry. But first, I would like to invite you all to tune in together. Not everyone can whistle, but everyone can hum. And I'm wondering if we can hum together, if only briefly. Will you hum with me?
Yeah.
Do you feel that? That's the presence of each other. That's the possibility of connection. Community is a verb. It requires that you act, and I know we're all tired. I know we get scared, and I just want to remind you that you can pick a single lane and you can focus on that for the day, or you can focus on that for the week, and you can do a little work in that lane. And the following week or day, you can pick another lane and do some work in that lane and continue to expand, have conversations with each other, right? What are you good at? What do you bring to the fight? I really want you to be thinking about that. What are you good at? What can you share? I'm going to share some poems. So, funny story about Black Lavender Milk. I have more than 5 minutes, right? Okay, I am very afraid of electricity. So, fun story about Black Lavender Milk. I lost the original file, and everyone who was involved in the making of Black Lavender Milk could not locate the original files. And so I had to type this from scratch. So I had my original copy, and I had my breath, and I edited as I was reading aloud. And let me tell you, if you can help it, do not rewrite your book from scratch. It is probably longer than you remember. And how the fuck did you get those margins? And why is the page breaking? So I would like to read a little bit of Black Lavender Milk, but I'm going to read from Desgraciado, and I'm going to read some new poems. So here are some notes on forming cenotes. Some notes on forming cenotes. Step 1, locate the event boundary. Rub the soil into your skin. Begin digging. Step 2. Step 2A, make black water, the water my grandfather described to me the morning after he had a vision, milky black midnight thick, something that smells of salt and blood. His vision was standing on a narrow alabaster bridge in a dark space, no moon, bodies everywhere in the water. I wonder if I too was a body in the void of dream. He didn't know how to help them. The next day, there were reports of a tsunami somewhere on the other side of the Pacific. We watered the aguacates and lemons. We buried salt beneath the orange tree. Step 3, stop when you reach your elbow or shoulder. You'll know when to stop. Step 4, equip the hole with a plastic bag membrane. This is not biodegradable and perhaps reminds you of the ocean or airport. Step 4A, continue to make black water. Crush charcoal from burnt palm trees. Add cold coffee and day-old wine. Stir, continue adding salt to the liquid. Watch for colloidal materials to form a constellation. Add lemon juice for flavor. When the water thickens with memory, begin to pour. Step 5, deposit what you remember losing. Lower your fingers into the water and retain rough, yet soft hands. Step 6, go for a run. Continue until you reach a body of water or become a body of water. Step 7, return home via airplane. Take notes. A room full of mirrors beckons a body across the void. They voice a portal without outline. Find the route that requires the least oxygen. Language cryogen. Sheesh. I brought you a pint of old blood under the orange tree, drunk off whiskey and trying to bury these notebooks behind me in a time that precedes and haunts me. I want memories to bring me back, find an earth scab, catch a bit of glass from the nearest car crash, press the substance to skin, hints of then, buried in our blood, a body of night curved across a planet. Our molecules call across a void and bury sunlight in our sleep. How will I know? The act of recollection requires a precise temporal orientation. This frames the pyramidal neurons to activate in such a way that they become relevant to the body recalling memory. This does not make a memory real. Experiential reality occurs within a quarter second of actual reality. So I am never now, here always, nowhere, running, remembering. I was asleep on an airplane somewhere above a continent. I see nothing but pale blue frequencies broken up by scratched plexiglass, wavering heat outside the station. The blue chair was cold. I only want to rest. I see nothing but dark road and tethering orange globes, night running floods across Colorado, retrieving these vicarious moments from the dark ocean outside airplane. I know them to be half excerpts, all internal. I think this may be said of all memory. A body is forgetful. When my grandfather was young, somewhere outside of Mérida, where the air is hot and cenotes line the flatlands, he lived with his mother, brother, and 3 sisters. He used to tell me small stories and isle memories from this space preceding the birth of my mother. And when he was young, his family only had tortillas and mantequilla to eat, and sometimes only tortillas. His mother sent him away to church to learn to become a priest. She did this because she knew there was not enough of anything for anyone, and she knew. When he arrived, all he wanted was to go home. He spent every lunch running off into town, trying to shine people's shoes and trying to sell aguacates and anything he could in order to return. This took him 3 years. After 3 years, he came home to his mother and family, only I never heard what happened after, only bits and pieces, that he'd flown on an airplane to America, standing, washing out pots bigger than his body in Hollywood, coming home with his nose chopped off in hand, too drunk to go anywhere else. I met him in the after of it all when he'd become a snowy-headed shaman, tending to his garden, roses, lemons, oranges, aguacates, talking to me about the ways in which the heart works, how the light of the sun could alter its function. Somehow he widened my breathing so that I could run. I remember these constellations of breath while I'm running until I feel it in my teeth, pulsing upwards to my pupils, the dark mirrors through which I am real. I sit between 2 sleeping bodies in flight, writing their sleep. The flight twitches and shakes. I'm documenting my own. The ink pulls as I pause on my eyes and A's. I can't help but remember my grandfather, his departure from home, settling aguacates, his running, the way the earth held his ruined knees, slipping on train tracks, gravel and palm. I blur the space between us further, retracting my pen in favor of my body. I go running through the orchard of my heart. I fall with the rain. I become another wash of mud and water. My tia once asked me to chew a piece of charcoal with yerba buena. I rinsed my mouth out with cenote water, swallowed black powder shards. It said that all who drink cenote water are bound to return to the Yucatan from the taste alone, the taste of home. I'm trying to give you water with this language, to return. In the air, I think of charcoal, coffee, soil, water, how I wanted to chew it between my teeth. I dug 3 holes in the backyard of my grandmother's home, orchard still fresh on my palms. I dug where there was once a tree. I filled it with black water, the opposite of cenote water. I made a pupil. I took notes upon the obsidian mirror of night. The eye of the airplane window triggers agua negra, 20,000 feet in el aire. I don't know where we're going. To where? So I have no concept of time. Do I have enough for a couple?
Yeah, you're exactly where you're supposed to be.
Okay. So as Josiah said, this book, Desgraciado, it's a pile of letters sent to my ancestral oppressor, Diego de Landa. Diego, I love your poem. I'm really sorry you're about to hear your name in this context. Do not take any of this personally. I don't know you. This is not about this, Diego. Please, if we could have some community aftercare for Diego, I'd appreciate it. And I'm gonna take a sip of water, speaking of care. You should all drink more water. I don't know you like that, but I'm guessing you should. So this book I wrote to save my life. I wrote this book to cope with Some of what I'm coping with now, maybe. We'll see. Something about this book, I like to let the book drive, and so I perform what's known as bibliomancy. It sounds super fancy, but it just means I open to a random fucking page and I read you that poem. So that's what we're doing right now. Dear Diego, again, not him. Dear Diego, sometimes writing to you feels like drinking gasoline from the pump, the sound of liquefied time dripping in the moonlight, 100,000 fossils pouring out of my mouth and into my organs. I get so thirsty writing to you, Diego. I find myself craving freeway rain with thumb on dotted line home. Sometimes I pine for the guardrail to give way, the call of the void, l'appel du vide. Do you still feel this? Did you ever? The fleeting thought of oblivion? I always arrive at the cusp of destruction with you, Diego. I never know just how far to go or if such a thing even exists, this notion that if I destroy you through erasure, if I could rewrite a history, am I anything other than what you are? If I set fire to your robes, if I robbed the Iberians of their histories, if I replaced every colonizer and colony with new words, I don't think that there is enough language to do what you thought you did by burning everything away. I don't think humans have a real grasp on scale. Everything in our lives is inevitably short-term in relation to the life on this planet which we exist on. You really just thought you could save us. You really thought you could just rob, rape, torture, murder us. You thought you could burn the pile of bodies, our ancestors. You thought you could tie our wrists behind our backs, hoisted up by the language of your God, paint boiling pig's fat on bare flesh too. What? Get the demons out? Get to the truth? You would use these inquisitional tactics to demand information that did not exist. Do you know how many recanted their confessions after their blood had coagulated and covered their wounds? Do you know how far some had to travel to find idols and ruins just to appease your fantasies of heresy and demonology? Your imagination was more evil than anything my ancestors admitted to. And that's it, isn't it? The colonial imagination. That's what's so ruinous and constantly rotting, the last zombie in a world overtaken by flowers, still hungry for something to colonize, something to harm and infect and spread to, a decrepit drooling husk of itself, a caricature of a caricature drawn from drunk memory, drunk off pig's blood, riding horses on the beaches of Tulum, sweating into our sacred waters, unbathed and in agony from the sun. The idea hangs on, glamorized in minds of neo-colonizers who claim nationhood and supremacy. The zombie of colonization speaks through them, thinking itself alive, thinking it's still a way of life to acquiesce and demonize and destroy. And I have a dream in which the flowers and vines overtake these zombies of the colonies. I have a dream in which we plant strangler figs on the doors of every oppressor. I have a dream where we don't just win. That notion exists within the imagination of the colonizer, within the body of the zombie colonies that continue to repeat the same droning drivel, hungry for subjugate bodies to press the dark fossil of their hearts upon. I would love for you to be my gasoline, Diego. I would love to put every colony in the rearview mirror. I would love to get away from everything, and yet I'm here. Constantly fighting with this invisible zombie, constantly breaking the 4th, 5th, 6th walls of colonization, constantly checking myself and my beliefs and the ways in which I carry myself in this world, constantly trekking the vast deference of my heart, which is also your heart, Diego, for I too am zombie. I only want to plant flowers. I don't want to spread virus. I want to understand. I want to not just eliminate, but learn from it. I want to plant flowers, Diego. I want to plant a garden of roses like my grandfather Sheesh before me. I want to build a line of bricks my grandfather Jose once taught me to lay. I want to feel the sun on my skin. I want to feel the air that lies beyond colonization. And I can almost taste it, Diego. Can you taste it, Diego? Can you taste it too? There is water there. Maybe a cenote. So I'm gonna read you one more from Desgraciado, and then I'm just gonna read you a few new poems if that's okay. Am I all right on time? I don't even see Josiah anymore, so. All right. We're gonna make it, y'all. We're gonna make it. I mean that. I mean that with everything in my body. All right. Dear Diego, I will not diminish the fullness of my truth. I think so often there's this flattening or shrinkage of the self to accommodate others. A survival mechanism rooted in colonization to don a mirror tongue when communication with your would-be someday executioner. Exhaustion seems to get the better of me while never leaving the hypothetical. I cycle through archetypes, entangle the ephemeral with the ongoing, noting every emergence, calling attention to the patterns, parsing out notions of scale across these time cones to create the hyper-reality of the present moment, ever fleeting. I seek to be the knowledge of your atoms, Diego. I wish to know your every molecule and movement. What are the gestures of this ongoing genocide? Let me say that again. What are the gestures of this ongoing genocide? What will it take to change a narrative, to adhere a sense of reality to language? I keep trying to build these models of resistance from within the tongues of my oppressors. Something about the master's tools, something about American assimilation, something about the way I can't ever seem to feel home or all right wherever I go, moving through this ocean of whiteness like a cuttlefish made of oil, unable to assimilate. I keep trying to carve out these small enclaves of non-reality in which I can work out what reality really means to me. I have been working so hard at unlearning, investigating the things my dreams tell me, listening to the threads that tug me towards the future, terrified of becoming, still more terrified of never knowing what I could become. And so I press on with ancestral compass, disarming enemy with language. What I really want is revenge. It will only be perceived as revenge by my enemies. My kin and me know that revenge is really just love, knows that revenge is really just becoming, stretching out across the earth as a new net of clouds, something like a sphere of rainbow chandeliers. I have a really fun one. If you've ever been in organizing spaces, you know you don't always have a bullhorn microphone. And so what you do have is each other. And y'all familiar with mic check? Yeah. So when I say mic check, you say mic check? Mic check?
Mic check.
Excellent. So I'd like for you to say this poem with me. This is my favorite poem to do with people, and I feel like y'all are my people right now. So if you feel a kind of way about this poem, look inward, beloved. All right. So repeat after me. Mic check.
Mic check.
All right. That wasn't that. No. Come on. I said mic. Mic check.
Mic check.
That's right. The last billionaire.
The last billionaire
Died today.
died today.
No one could hear that last breath.
That last breath
Over the sound
over the sound
of everyone eating.
of everyone eating.
Fuck Elon Musk. I'm saying, y'all, I got mad in a way today that I haven't gotten mad in a long ass time. So I'm gonna read. Do I have time for a couple
You
more?
have time
I'm
for a couple
blind.
more.
Okay, last one. So this is brand new. I finished it today, and I finished it for you for this reading. This is called Crocodiles Only Cry When They're Feasting, which is a fact, by the way, and I want you to think about that the next time you see some crocodile tears on the timeline. You tell them to shut the fuck up. Thank you again for listening to me yell at you. Josiah, thank you for having me again in the portal. This is the most special space in the mission, y'all. This is everything. Buy all the books. Buy all the books or I'll fucking rob you outside. So just make sure that you buy some books. It's like that, y'all. I'm sorry, I'm from elsewhere. It's the Great 1-8. It's the Great 1-8. Yeah, all right, so this is Crocodiles. Crocodiles only cry when they're feasting. I was raised to be an adversary. La faja was the first fascism I fought, y después the cruel mess holding la faja. G. Kundo lessons couldn't save me from my own big mouth. Knocked down and swollen bloody on the court, I learned to pick myself up, cry and apologize, and soften my losses into longevity. Realizing a loss is not defeat. I keep going, cast iron foot, folding highways, decade driving licenseless, reckless. Never met a bad day I couldn't crush nor vanquish these fascists. Fools too stupid to be trusted with language. So let me punctuate my enemy. Heavily sedated was the only way I made it, and yet I am now the most lucid I have ever been. Shrugged off grandpa's medicine and felt myself released from who I could have been full of it, full of love, full of light, full of love, full of fight. I might just go back to the old me, skin of my teeth, like who the fuck is gonna stop me? Cause it's not me. Me? I fucked around and made up my goddamn mind. So in a while, crocodiles.